I'm not a doctor, but I play it on TV. Governor Mike Pence, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Nice to have you.
First time on the curvy couch, huh?
I think it is.
How's it feel?
That's right. Yeah, great to be here.
It's great to have you. And breaking news, the New York Times CBS poll just came out, and in a four-way race, you and Donald Trump, and it must be killing the people at the New York Times, you and Donald Trump are tying Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine. Yeah,
and you know, there are other polls in the battleground states around the country, leading in Ohio, leading in Florida. I think you see tremendous momentum in this campaign.
What has changed?
I don't think really anything has changed. You know, as Donald said on your program this morning, the message has remained the same. It's make America great again. It's recognizing the last 7.5 years have weakened America's place in the world and stifled America's economy. Donald Trump and I are campaigning on an agenda to rebuild our military, have America standing strong in the world, to pass the kind of tax relief, regulatory reform, end the war on coal, repeal Obamacare that'll get this economy moving again, stand up for the Second Amendment, for the Constitution. All those messages are resonating all across America.
And you mentioned the swing states, the all-important swing states.
Right.
Florida, you can look there. Trump now 47-44. In Ohio, he's now up by, in some polls, what, 5 points? Here you can see 46% to 41%. Is this going to be the focus? We have, what, 54 days to go?
That's right. Well, I think, and you know, the polls, I actually don't spend a lot of time thinking about the polls. I spend all my time, as Donald Trump does, out with the American people. And what we sense is this tremendous movement of the American people to really restore this country. I mean, when I saw it last night in Scranton, Pennsylvania. You saw it in the huge crowd in Ohio with Donald Trump. Everywhere he goes, everywhere we campaign, it's clear to us that what's happening today all across this country is the American people are stepping up. They want to change the course of this country back to strength and prosperity, and they know Donald Trump's the man who can do that.
But the one thing has changed. It's in the prompter now. It's a much more disciplined message. It's the same thoughts. It's written in Trump's language with his voice, but it's definitely more disciplined on the stump because he could speak for 45 minutes. The press will point out 2 minutes it was somewhat controversial, and that'll be the story the next day. That has not happened.
Well, I think there was a natural evolution, just as at the convention he laid out that compelling vision to make America great again, at home and abroad, to fight for the forgotten men and women of this country, to be the voice of the American people in the Oval Office. The speeches that you see, and he'll give another one in New York today on our economic plan. The speeches that you've seen that he's been presenting have been very substantive, and so it's been very appropriate for him to work on those and prepare those in advance. But as you said, Brian, they're all his words. It's all his vision.
It's written in his voice, but it's definitely written.
And I think that's important, whether it be the plan to confront and defeat radical Islamic terrorism, get the economy moving again, ending illegal immigration. Donald Trump has been traveling the country and will continue to, laying out a plan that will turn this country around, and I think that's why people are responding.
Governor, later today on the Dr. Oz show, where of course you go to reveal all of your medical records, Donald Trump takes 2 papers out of his pocket and gives them to Dr. Oz. We had Mr. Trump on just an hour ago, and this is what he revealed about what he says to Dr. Oz later. Listen.
One document talks about Lenox Hill Hospital, which is a great hospital in New York, and the other one is, you know, where the doctor is associated in some form, and the other one is the physical. And I did all the tests. I did every test. I did it last week, and the samples all came back. The cholesterol, I think, is quite good. Everything is really good, and if I honestly, you know, I told people on your show I'm going to go get a physical because you guys mentioned that. And I said, all right, I'll go get a physical. I was quick to do it, and I have every single test you can have, and they were good.
And apparently he takes a statin drug, and his weight is 236. It's not 276 or whatever it says in the
Still
paper.
wants to lose, though, some 15, 20 pounds. You're
going to be, don't we all?
I know.
Well, fast food's all you get on the campaign, though, right?
Because you know what's in it. You're going to tell us about how you're going to release your records.
Yeah, we reached out to my physician. I did a physical a couple months ago, and I think we're going to put a letter out a little bit later today.
Any reason you did the physical, or just one of those?
No, it was just my annual physical, and we'll be releasing that information. And I think the American people have a right to know. This is the highest office in the land. Those of us who have the opportunity to vie for national office, I think we owe an obligation to share that kind of personal information with the public. I'm pleased the other campaigns have done it. And but I'll tell you something about Donald Trump since I've been campaigning with him the last couple of months is it's hard to keep up with the man. I mean, he's a few years older than me, but boy, he is up early, out late.
When you do a speech for an hour where you're hollering, that takes it out of you.
Well, but he is constantly on the move. But he is driven by a passion for this country and a love for this country, the likes of which I've never seen in my life.
He says he feels like a 30-year-old. Well, Colin Powell's, his emails have come out. Don't think he's very happy about that. But in a few of them, he talks about Hillary Clinton's health and how, here's what he said. He said, on HGTV, she doesn't look good. She is working herself to death. Goes on to say Sheldon Whitehouse, who is a huge Clinton supporter, said they were both giving speeches at the same event a few months back, and she could barely climb the podium steps. I mean, obviously, these are emails he didn't think would get out, but how he really feels about the situation. What is your response to that?
Well, look, we wish Hillary Clinton well. We're glad to see her headed back out on the campaign trail today. We've prayed for her recovery, and I'm sure Colin Powell's embarrassed about the things that he said about both candidates in those emails becoming public.
What is your reaction to him calling Donald Trump a national disgrace?
It's unfortunate, but I have a lot of respect for Secretary Powell. I didn't always agree with him.
Will you reach out to him?
I'm certainly willing to sit down and have a conversation with him. We've known each other for many years. But look, he's entitled to his opinion about Hillary Clinton and about Donald Trump. But look, you know, there's so much focus, candidly, on what people in the establishment and elites have to say about either one of these candidates.
You consider Colin Powell that?
I just have to tell you that what's extraordinary about this campaign is that millions and millions of everyday Americans from every walk of life, more and more every day, are being drawn to the compelling vision that Donald Trump has expressed to make America great again.
And a lot of the message that you guys speak is the opposite of what many have heard from the establishment for so many years.
Well, it
why
really
they're appealing
is.
to that.
And, you know, I gave a speech last week at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in California, and I talked about the way the establishment dealt with Ronald Reagan. Here was a guy, a governor of California, who challenged a sitting president of his own party. He was no favorite of the establishment. They cast him aside. They actually said Reagan was just someone out of the entertainment world who tried to enter politics late. And I looked at that crowd at his library and said, doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah.
The truth is that Donald Trump is giving voice to the frustrations and the aspirations of the American people like no one in my lifetime since Ronald Reagan, and I truly do believe he's going to be a great president.
I do know that Reagan also, and the Reagan Library, put together all those negative commentaries in one. So if you walk around on the Reagan, it's supposed to be a salute to Reagan, they have all the negativity of people doubting his intellect and doubting his ability to
well,
govern.
That's the thing, Brian. I saw President Obama out on the campaign stump just this week, and making favorable reference to Ronald Reagan. Hillary Clinton did it last week. I said, boy, that's got to be a first. These two had to be some of the harshest critics of Ronald Reagan and his policies. You know, what Donald Trump and I are campaigning on, particularly on the economy, big speech today in New York City at the Economic Club, is the same economic agenda: less taxes, less regulation, smarter trade deals, ending the war on coal, repealing Obamacare. Many of the very same things that Ronald Reagan did when the economy roared back. Frankly, many things that John F. Kennedy did when the economy roared back. You let people keep more of what they earn. You roll back regulation and red tape. You have smarter and tougher trade deals, and America will spring back faster than you can imagine.
And, of course, Kennedy famously cut taxes because they were really high at the beginning of his
Larry
term.
Kudlow's got a brand new book out. I'm not flacking his book, but he talks about the connection between John F. Kennedy's economic policies and tax cuts, lowering marginal rates, Ronald Reagan's, and that's exactly what Donald Trump and I are talking about doing on the national stage.
Now, there's something else that you did during the week. You went and visited the guys who are, and the women who are your buddies, your former colleagues in the House.
I did.
Did you convert anybody to the Trump train? Because some of them were firmly against it and have been promised by the Clinton camp that if they elect me, I'm going to have an outreach to Republicans. Who did you convert?
Well, you'd have to ask around the Hill. I will tell you, I was overwhelmed at the turnout when I met with the Republican conference and attended the Senate's Tuesday luncheon. There was a Great enthusiasm in the room. I think I was told again and again that.
Well, they like you, but they don't seem to like Donald Trump
well,
yet.
I really think they do. I think there's tremendous enthusiasm for Donald Trump's vision for this country.
So what do you tell them to ease the concerns they might have about Donald Trump?
Well,
what do you say?
Well, you know, they know the policies. They know that he's laying out a common sense conservative agenda to get the economy moving again, to rebuild the military. I mean, Donald Trump's economic plan actually borrowed from Speaker Paul Ryan's plan to lower our marginal tax rates to 3 lower rates for working families and small business. So they know the policies.
Sure.
But I talked a lot about the man. I talked a lot about the time that our families have spent together. And I just looked them all in the eye. A lot of these people I served with a lot of years. And I said, let me tell you something. This is a man who loves his family and loves this country. And he's going to be a great president.
Real quickly, I want to ask you about the Clinton Foundation. Donna Shalala, who is the president of the Clinton Foundation and worked for Bill Clinton as secretary of HHS, she said in an interview over on MSNBC yesterday, there's no question there were phone calls made to get appointments for people. It looks to so many like if you wanted to get something done for yourself, give some money to the foundation, doors open.
Well, it not only looks that way, but now the president of the foundation has admitted that, which is just breathtaking. I mean, that here we now have a confirmation that major foreign contributors to the Clinton Foundation were given special access to the Secretary of State and to the State Department during her service to the United States. Your viewers would do well to be reminded, foreign corporations, foreign contributors cannot donate to American politics. They cannot have that access point that the American citizen
can have. So they
better
do it now.
It's really breathtaking. More than half of the meetings that she granted while she was Secretary of State, the Associated Press reported. This is the kind of pay-to-play politics that the American people are sick and tired of. Hillary Clinton was warned about this during her confirmation hearings. Our own Indiana Senator Richard Lugar cautioned her against foreign donors using the Clinton Foundation as a place that they could contribute to gain access and gain favor with the State Department. So the bottom line is the American people are done with this, and this kind of pay-to-play politics is going to end the day that Donald Trump becomes president of the United States.
Well, it's the home stretch now. 54 days to go.
It is, and we're more excited than ever before, and I couldn't be more honored to stand with this good man.
And we're honored to have you here on the couch. Governor, thank you very much. Good luck.
Thanks for starting your day with us.
Thank
Appreciate it.